You're listening to the Grit to Growth podcast. Real talk with real business owners and professionals who built their freedom the hard way and now want more time, money, and impact.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm your host today, Levi Tesloff from Mailbox Money. And I got a really special episode with me today. I got my boss and the founder of Mailbox Money, Dusten Hendrickson, here. Dustin, how are we doing today?
I'm so amped up. It's Friday. It's almost the weekend. I'm on Grit to Growth, doing the gritty. I mean, can't get any better than that.
Life doesn't get better. Well, we're going to talk today about where the idea of Mailbox Money came from, kind of the early days of building it, and what the future might hold in there. So let's start with the beginning, Dustin.
All right.
How did you get the idea for Mailbox Money?
Well, actually, one of my good partners, Caleb Veldhaus, just mentioned it. He's like, oh, it sounds like you're trying to raise mailbox money for people, or you're trying to get people to invest to get mailbox money. And I was like, dude, that's an awesome name. I'm going to start using that.
For those outside kind of the investing world and everything, what is Mailbox Money?
It's just passive income. You know,
Okay.
You used to, back in the day when I first started, you used to get all your checks actually in the mail. And now everything's electronic and ACH. So it doesn't quite make as much sense, but it just means you get a monthly check in the mail.
It's quite the common phrase between entrepreneurs and investors. Yeah, just for those that don't know that, it's very clever. Back it up a little bit more. So that's kind of how you learn about how you wanted to name the company and everything. What actually got you to Mailbox Money, your early days of your career?
Well, first off, very important. I met a beautiful bride, Shailene Hendrickson, and I was able, luckily enough, she said yes. We got married, had 3 kids, and she's been a massive support. And that was the first step, because you always have to have a really good partner. And as you go through, what?
Let's fill the people in too. Shay happens to be my oldest sister.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Dustin's been in my life since I think before I even started walking, right?
Yes. So I actually met Levi at the same time I met Shay. Shay was pushing Levi in a stroller, and that's when I met Shay. And then I started making fun of her, and that's how you knew. That's how I knew. She's the one. Yeah, I was instantly attracted to her. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's a full circle moment right there, from meeting your wife with me as a baby to me being your employee now.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Pretty awesome. I'm blessed.
All right. So you met her. She inspired you. Where did the actual journey begin in entrepreneurship?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur, just naturally. I was always good at selling stuff and talking my way into situations. So I really noticed it when as a kid, I would go out and I would sell all the cookies, like you'd have to sell cookies for baseball, and I'd come back and all my cookies were gone and everyone just had piles of cookies still. So I'd take their cookies or their candy bars. I could sell all that stuff out before anyone else every single time. And then I sold newspaper subscriptions, same thing. And then I got a job at Hy-Vee, didn't like that as much. Went to JD Byrider, started detailing cars, really liked that. Got out of high school, went down to Phoenix to work on cars, realized I hated working with metal. Like, I did not like how detailed and precise that metal was. I was more of a wood welder, you'd say. Came back, started going to college. Then I started a roofing company in 2002. And so that is where I really started my real estate career. And I found myself being really drawn to the architecture of the buildings. So as I was scaling this roofing career, I realized I loved the architecture of the building, the design, the floor plans, the layouts.
Were you learning that from kind of seeing the other contractors on jobs? Because you were putting roofs on new houses, correct?
Yeah, we were doing all kinds of roofs. So every kind of roof we would do, but it was during the boom. It was in the 2002 to 2008 when it was booming, lots of new construction. So we were walking through all kinds of really nice houses. And then my mom said, hey, let's buy a duplex. Let's get a rental. we searched for a little bit, and the market was so expensive that we decided to develop. We'd never developed before, but I knew that I could do it just because I knew all these other contractors, and if they could do it, I could do it. So we built our first duplex and really never looked back.
About what year was that for the first duplex?
That was 2003.
2003. So then you kind of you mentioned about 2008 then. Are you still roofing?
Yep, still roofing in 2008, but that was just the boom, right? And
Yep.
it kind of died off, and we found other work in roofing, more.
That's what I was going to go into, the housing crash, obviously, 2008, 2009. How did that affect you and your businesses?
Not really at all. It didn't really affect us at all. The economy in the Midwest is very resilient. You barely feel any of those fluctuations. It's mainly felt on the coast.
Right?
Yeah, we're very insulated. And so people actually started moving here. And so it just kind of continued. There was less new construction because banks wouldn't loan, but we were doing re-roofs, remodels, different things like that. We never ran out of work.
Okay, cool. All right. So you start developing stuff. How does that turn into getting into multifamily then?
Well, we just kept building and building more and more duplexes. And I realized instead of working for homeowners, so let me back up a step. So in 2011 is when I started my house building business, which was called Brookings Built Green. We wanted to push the green initiative, the efficiency, natural light, all these things. We even had a recycling program. So we wanted to do that. And eventually I sold the roofing business in about 2015. But we started building homes. And then while we were building homes, I realized I would rather build for tenants than build for homeowners, because homeowners were extremely picky, and they would, I just wasn't built to deal with all of the fussiness, because I really don't care about a little drywall nick. I'm really high level. So when people would start complaining about these minor things, I would just look at the house and be like, look at this thing. It's amazing. And we built it on time, close to budget. Why are you complaining? Because I couldn't understand all the complaints. So I wasn't very good at customer service in that. I would get mad at them. And it just didn't work out good for me.
No, I can't imagine a homeowner hearing from their contractor pushing back. They usually don't like that too much, do they?
No, they hate it.
Well, that kind of leads you into what you're doing now, is in why you like the syndication model, right? Is because you're not having, you said you preferred the tenant, but and maybe I should back up. How'd you like dealing with actual renters and stuff? You liked it more than the homeowners, but give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I basically learned enough to learn that I should hire somebody to deal with the tenants as well. So I would build for tenants. They're still not as fussy, and I could hire somebody to come in and deal with the tenant. So we hire a property manager, but we had done every aspect. So we knew how to buy land. We knew how to work with the bank. We knew how to construct. We knew how to property manage. We knew how to do the maintenance. We knew how to asset manage. We knew how to do the books. We knew how to do the legal. We did everything, because when you come in as an active investor, you have to do all that, because there's not enough proceeds to go and hire the best professionals on everything. Now, as you scale, now you can be like, I know how to do that, but I'm going to give it to this guy. But knowing how to do it and then having them do the work is great, because now you can look over it all. So you just have expertise in every level. And so I
could see big picture the whole time.
Yeah. And so also it's hard to scale every aspect, right? So what I was best at is the design. And so I make sure that that's what I do all the time, is the design. And I'm good with communicating with contractors specifically, because I talk their language. So I can bring in contractors, do the design. We can partner with the contractors as well. We get a lot of contractors that invest with us. So that's where I come in. And then I'm good at marketing, and I'm good at like building a team. Then I'm like, okay, I'm not as good at property management, so let's bring in a property manager. I'm not as good at the legal stuff. I'm not a lawyer, so let's bring in a guy to do the legal. I'm not a CPA. Let's bring in a bookkeeper. All these things. And as you scale, you can bring in better and better contract or professionals and contractors, and in the end, they all save you money.
You've got the who, not how mentality.
Absolutely. Who, not how. I don't need to know every little minor detail.
Yeah, that way you've found you've been able to scale with that, right?
Absolutely.
Very cool. For someone who is wanting to get into passive investing, give a very high level overview on how they would do so.
Well, you'd find a syndicator you like or a real estate group that you like, and you would go and vet their deal. Make sure you like the location. Make sure you like what they're building. Make sure it all aligns with you. Check their track record, their experience, their history. Go out to lunch with them. Look at all their portfolio. Make sure it's all run properly. If there's garbage and trash all over the place and it looks like crime's being committed in those areas, you probably don't want to invest. That's a sign that the property is going downhill and the management is not that great. So you just want to make sure they're dialed with everything. Look at their prospectus. Like, does it look professional, or does it look like it's the first time they built a prospectus? So you should kind of be impressed with the materials and the product that they have. And then, can I meet the builder? Can I meet the property manager? Just how deep can you go in the process with them?
Nice. Why would someone want to go with a ground up development sponsor versus someone who's going out there and doing some value add?
Because ground up developer, you get a brand new product, you get the best location. Sometimes they put them in a bad location. That's where you come in as an investor. That's
part of your vetting process.
Right. Yeah. But brand new location, infrastructure is great. You're usually next to all the new schools, the new stores. You just get a brand new building and a brand new location, and it's built for now. A lot of these old apartments, they're 50, 60 years old. They're coming up on the end of their life cycle. And the way we live our life is so much different than the way we used to.
Give me, from the monetary standpoint, why would someone go with the new development versus a value add where they might start cash flowing sooner?
Well, I've found that you don't actually really cash flow sooner. The market right now is very expensive. Rates are very high. It's hard to add the value. So many of these units have been flipped because the syndication model worked so well from 2010 to 2022. And so a lot of that value has already been pulled out of the economy. And the units that are left to flip, when you go to flip them, you can't really improve your tenant anyways, like you thought you would, and you don't end up getting the rents you would. So you're not really getting immediate cash flow anyways. And so I think in a development, or I know in a development, you create a lot more value. Now, once in a while, someone can find something that's very undervalued, but I find it very hard in this day and age with information technology. There's just not that many deals out there. It's very, very hard to get a deal.
It's became more competitive too, right? More people are getting in that space because it's not everyone can come and be a developer, where it's not too much of a skill level to come in and buy something and then just pay someone to fix it up, right?
Correct. There's a lot higher barrier to entry for a development. And the thing is with developments too, most developers don't take new investors because they're older. They've already got all their investment group. So we're at a time now when we're scaling, we can still take in money, and we're scaling. So we constantly need more new investors. So that's kind of why we are open to investment.
That makes sense. Let's share with people kind of the secret sauce behind our development, how we look to make efficiencies in our plan and be smart and intentional about it.
Yeah, very intentional. That's one of our main tenets is design efficiency. Every part of it is efficient, from smaller square foot plans to no elevator, no corridor, no dog park. And so we concentrate on high ROI items like floor to ceiling windows. Very impressive for the tenants, and it makes the space feel more expansive. So you take a 600 square foot one bedroom, it feels the same as a 700 square foot one bedroom with these large windows. So we got large windows in the bedrooms as well. And then we put windows in the bathroom, and that's very rare in an apartment. And it just does something. We always have washer and dryer. We have quartz countertop. We have black hardware. We have a Scandinavian interior design, very trendy, very desired. Then we do suburban location. So like I say, desirable location, low crime, close to the urban core. So you still have all the opportunities, and then all brand new infrastructure. We do a copy and paste design. And this is, so we do the same design over and over and over. And this prevents us from going over on our budgets, going over on our time. And it's seamless, simple. The property managers know how to manage it. They know all the issues that they're going to deal with. And so all this stuff's been vetted out. And then a phased approach. So the phased approach is we build one building at a time. We build smaller boutique buildings on the site. Instead of building one massive building, we can build 4 small buildings or 10 small buildings.
Garden style, right?
Yep. 3-story garden style walk up. So there's
very attractive
extremely attractive exterior. But the first building is ready in 9 months, and then 1 to 2 months after that. And then by the time the GC pulls off, we're already 80 to 100% pre-leased versus a standard typical construction. You do all the building at once, underground parking, GC pulls off, and you're maybe 30% pre-leased.
Yeah, you have 100+ units to start leasing up. Yep. Building feels kind of eerie, right? Yep. Kind of that ghost town feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Takes you a lot longer to stabilize too, then, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you said no elevator in there. You guys throw in, or I should say, do we got like any pools or, golf simulators? I've seen that's a hot thing.
Yep. It's so hot that so many people put them in that you don't need to put them in anymore. There's plenty of apartments that have them. We do have some apartments we have an apartment with a pool, coupled with a hot tub, and it tends to be maintenance nightmare. Always something wrong. Always getting a lot of complaints. It's never clean enough. There's just you almost have to have a hospitality degree to run those. And then you have to have more maintenance on staff. And we found that people don't really want to pay for that. And so if you actually had an opt-in fee for that, people would pull, they would not
find not many people would be opting out.
Not many people would be opting in. And so we use the data and we said, okay, the data doesn't lie. Numbers don't lie. People don't really want this stuff.
Well, like you said, not to mention the general cost of paying someone to maintain it. Your golf simulator, those things are always breaking down. Hot tubs always breaking down. So that's already more money coming into those things. And that's less on the investor side of things, return on money. And then for the tenant side, they're going to be charged more for that.
And you get negative reviews when stuff breaks. Yeah. So then people write reviews like, oh, the golf simulator was almost always broken and it was busy. And, it's not busy, but there's just more opportunity for poor reviews. We really found that people care most about their interior of their unit. What does it look like when they pull up, and what's the neighborhood? Those are by far the 3 most important. And then
getting the top of the line on those, cutting everything else out.
Yep.
You mentioned floor to ceiling windows. That sounds like an expensive upgrade.
Yep. It's not cheap, but it's the absolute wow factor. And then it allows us to, like I said, to make a smaller footprint. So with those floor to ceiling units, it feels so expansive. It draws you out to nature. It improves your mental well-being. These are things that you start to realize as you live in the place, and then it's better for tenant retention as well. So on paper, it's hard to justify, and this is why most developers cut it out. But if you look at the data long-term, it supports the floor to ceiling windows.
And it sounds like you're kind of picking up, you're putting the costs into things that matter and taking out costs on things that don't.
Absolutely.
Well, very cool. Give me kind of a snapshot what the next year or so, maybe a couple of years looks for Mailbox Money.
We are going to expand rapidly throughout the Midwest, Kansas City, Rochester, Minnesota, where the Mayo Clinic's at, Des Moines, Iowa, Ankeny, a suburb of Des Moines called Ankeny, Madison, Wisconsin, Columbus, Ohio, Lincoln, Nebraska. That's like within the next 3 years. And then we've got about 5 new developments we're going to start by the end of this year. We got land contracts on 5 new developments that we're going to start. 1 in Crooks, 1 in Hartford, the 1 in Dakota Dunes, the 1 in Rochester, the 1 in Ankeny. Those are all going to be under contract, and then we'll be digging dirt by spring of 2026. So lots of progress, lots of things happening.
If people want to find out more about what we're doing or have a chat with either myself or you, where's the best place for them to go?
mailboxmoneyre.com.
Perfect. Yeah. And that's got both me and Dustin's contact info in there. We'd love to chat more on what your goals for investing are and how we might be able to help with that. All right, Dustin, before I let you go, I want to try a new segment here, some rapid fire questions. You can't
Is this sponsored by Mamitos? Do a new segment. Sponsored by Mamitos.
Sponsorship. Anyone who wants to work with us, we're open.
This is sponsored by Mailbox Money.
There we go. No overthinking these. Rapid fire. Let's go quick. All right. Worst job you ever had?
McDonald's.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Cigars.
Real estate or stocks?
Real estate.
Book that's had the biggest impact on your thinking?
The Bible, but let's go back and be so not including the Bible. If you're just going, I would go with the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, very nice. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
And finally, what's your definition of success as of right now?
How much impact do you have on others? Are you lifting other people up?
Cool.
And
Dustin,
do you have time freedom?
Time, money, and impact, baby.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Time, money, and impact. That's awesome.
Well, Dustin, thank you for your time today. It's always a pleasure to actually get you to sit down. I know you're a busy guy, and so it's awesome to be talking with you.
Thanks for having me, Levi.
See ya.
Later.
Know someone with serious grit and a great growth story? Send them our way at grittogrowthpodcast.com/guest.